All righty, we are going to get started. I want to say welcome, everybody. We're so happy that you're joining us this evening. I cannot wait to share the company, the information about our company and our product overview. And I'm very honored to be here with you tonight. And I just want to let you know that what I'm doing here right now is one of my most favorite things to do, especially in today's world. And that is making sure that you have access to this information. So what I want you to do is do not forget, if you don't do it now, don't forget, please thank the person that invited you here to get the details and get this information. I hope that they told you that this was a big deal, because it is. And by the time we're finished, you're going to understand why, and you're going to want to make sure that your friends and family have access to this information as well. So let me introduce myself. My name is Charette, and I have been partnered up with Life Vantage for 9 years, if you can believe it. I can't believe it. And it's one of the best decisions that I ever made. I want to share a little bit about my journey, and here are some images that help share some of that, share some of my journey, right? Y'all will have to excuse me. Apparently, I'm nervous. Some of these images here reflect part of my journey. But what I really want to share is my most greatest accomplishment is being a single mom of these two amazing girls that are right here in the right-hand side of the image. And they're one of the reasons why I made the decision to do what I'm doing and why it has made such a significant change in my life. But I call myself, or I have claimed myself, to be a serial entrepreneur. And even with that said, over the last decades, I have been in business for myself. This is my first time at this industry. I've never done network marketing before. So that just lets you know, if I can do it, you can do it. It's all about being excited about what we have to share, and you're going to be excited about what you hear. So I'm going to share with you how this changed my stars. But right now, when you look at these images, it all looks good and it all looks fun, right? And it is fun. But what it doesn't show you is how my life was before Life Vantage. And it doesn't show how Life Vantage found me. And so I'm going to take you back to 2010 and see how many of you remember what was going on in 2010. And back then, I went through, well, we had the economy crash, right? And so many people were affected by that, and I was not able to escape it. So I always say I was broke and broken, but I was also hopeless. And I'm going to share with you why. We couldn't find work. Everybody was closing doors. If businesses were open, they were letting go of employees, right? They were downsizing. Do y'all remember when that happened? Were you part of that, right? Are you one of those ones that said, I'm so grateful that I have my job, but yet they cut your hours or they cut your pay, right? That's what was going on. My hopelessness was because I couldn't find work. And there might be some people in our time today that are facing that, or maybe getting close to facing that, because we're having some economy shifts once again, right? So I want you to really have your heart and your mind open, because there's probably some good information in here that you personally will be able to benefit from, but you're also going to be able to think of people that you know who can benefit from this information, okay? And again, it's just information, right? But it's important information. So what happened here is I ended up relocating to South Dakota, of all places. I was in Florida when this happened. When I lost everything in a matter of 2 years, I ended up losing my business, my home, my car, my insurance, my retirement, my life. And so I had hit rock bottom. So knowing that I wasn't able to find job placement or get work, that was the most difficult of all, and totally challenged me. You can only imagine, right? But I ended up in South Dakota for work. And my daughter here in the blue dress, she went to South Dakota Dakota to get her go through beautician school. Because she ended up there and she completed school, we ended up opening a retro salon in the local mall. So that was my restart button. I share that with you because that was my restart button. Here we are, kicking along 18 months, but things still, again, happened. Things happen, right? And what we found out as we were just getting ready to start this business is that a bigger national chain was coming in to the wing that we were in. And sure enough, they did. And there were 6 businesses booted out, and we were one of them. So we were faced with these new decisions, how to navigate. We had to figure out how to close down. And that was, again, my restart button. So what I want to share with you is the significance of this is that I was 50 years old. This was my restart. I was now faced with how is the rest of my life going to look? What was my future going to look like? And I was scared. I was on my knees praying because I felt like at that point I was going to be scraping for the rest of my life, right? Do you know of anybody in that situation? And so I was in prayer, lots of prayer, heavy prayer. And I'm here to say, thank God, prayers are answered. And I get choked up when I think about this. Prayers were answered. And an angel showed up in our salon before we shut down. And they shared with me what I'm going to share with you tonight. And it was a game changer. And like I said, it changed my stars. So I hope that this is something that will be very beneficial for you, but you also will think of people that you know and care about that can use this information as well. So here I am today, 9 years later, sharing this important information with you. And the one thing that I want to make sure to let you know is that we're not going to make any claims here. We're not going to tell you that our products are going to cure, treat, or mitigate any disease, right? You're going to get some facts and you're going to get to move forward and learn how to do your research as well. And likewise, I'm not going to make any income claims because everything is based on an individual and what work you put into your business, right? But the neat thing about this is it is a publicly traded company, and hopefully you're going to stick around to the end and I get to share an earned income statement that actually will reflect the averages of what people are making if they make a decision to build this Lifevantage business. So let's talk about the story of Lifevantage, okay, and where we got started and how we got started. And it all started with this little yellow pill or this NRF2 activator. Hopefully you've heard of that. And this gentleman here, Dr. Joe McCord, he is a molecular biologist, and he made a lifelong dedication to fighting the effects of free radicals. We called him the free radical guru, and he's was so profound in what he did, and he won what we call what is called the Elliott Crescent Medal. This is for groundbreaking discovery, and he is in the company of Alexander Graham Bell, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers. So this is pretty significant award. And he made it his lifelong journey to study the effects of free radical damage, which is also known as oxidative stress. And we're going to talk about that this evening. But it led him to this formulation of our flagship product that landed on this ABC primetime expose. And I don't know if you remember ABC Primetime, but they used to go to companies and businesses that were making claims. And they would actually air them on TV and disprove them on national TV. And they were kind of an advocate for us. Like we watched that because we wanted to hear, were they telling the truth, right? And they did that with us because our flagship product got their first, what we call peer-reviewed study that stated that our product reduces that oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. And so he wanted to challenge that study or that claim. And what he found out is that not only did it disprove the 40% in 30 days, but it actually reduced his oxidative stress by 45% in 2 weeks. So it was better than our claim, right? So it was pretty exciting. We are, at that time, we were a publicly traded company. Our product was in 10,000 retail stores like GNC and CVS. And we were a $3 million company, actually going backwards. Why? Because we couldn't educate what I'm going to share with you this evening from the label of the bottle. This information didn't fit here, so people didn't understand the value and the benefits of activation. They didn't even know what activation was. They didn't even know what oxidative stress was yet, right? And so when this ABC aired, they literally got $5 million worth of orders overnight on sheer speculation of what they heard in that expose. So if you haven't heard or seen that ABC investigative report that aired back in 2005, I encourage you to reach out to the person that invited you. Make sure they send you that link. Yes, it was done in 2005, but that's how we were first introduced to the public. You get to see what they saw, and you'll get to see how far we've come since then. So it's pretty profound, okay? So not only did 5,000, however many $5,000 worth of orders, however many people that is, saw that ABC investigative report, it actually captured the attention of many researchers and universities across the world. And this publicly traded company went from a, well, actually, let me share with you first. What the company did is they realized that people wanted to know. If they got $5 million worth of orders, people were watching and they wanted to know. So they reached out to an advisor and they said, okay, our mode of distribution isn't working. We're sitting on the retail shelves, but we can't educate the benefits of this product. And so that advisor stated, you need to be in mouth-to-mouth distribution because it needs to be educated. That's it. And the company kind of said, well, wait, doesn't that sound like network marketing? And they kind of shook their head and said, ooh, I don't know about that. And you yourself might have thought that. Sometimes people do. But what happened was, is they challenged the company and they took this ABC investigative report and they showed it across the country. And then they educated, they connected the dots and educated, which is what I'm doing with you here tonight. And they got and they actually outsold by 300% what they did in those 10,000 retail stores, like in a matter of 6 months. So they got the company's attention, right? Wouldn't that get your attention? So they realized that they needed to switch and they went into the network marketing model back in 2009. And since then, we went from a $3 million company going backwards to over 200 million in sales. So that sounds great and that's super exciting, but also we're still new. We're still a baby company, which means if you're considering this as a business opportunity, you're sitting in a we are all sitting in a very wonderful position, okay? So what is this thing called Protandim NRF2? Well, Protandim, that lowers oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, right? Well, it also increases or activates our survival genes. Doesn't that sound good? Holy cow. Those are things like superoxide dismutase, and you can just say SOD, catalase, and this other thing called glutathione. And I think most of us are hearing today, there's a lot of talk about activating or increasing your glutathione. And our product does it naturally. Our product goes in and turns on the genes to activate this pathway, and it increases our glutathione. Our body does it naturally, does what it's designed to do, and increases our glutathione by 300%. That is significant, you guys, and it's very important. Go look up glutathione and how important that is. But our Protandim NRF2 is made up of 5 natural herbal ingredients. You're going to be familiar with some of these: green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, ashwagandha, and bacopa. And you might be saying, I'm already taking, right, a couple of those. And what we want to share with you is it's the ratio that Dr. Joe McCord put these in, that it created a synergy amongst all 5 of them that made each one of them 1,800% more potent. So that is obviously far more efficient than, or effective than, what we're taking over the counter. So just that alone is making a big difference if you're already taking some of these products, right? But I also want to share with you, let's come here, is what is oxidative stress? We're talking about oxidative stress. What is it and what causes it, okay? And oxidative stress is the same thing, AKA toxic free radical damage, right? And we kind of heard those words before, but we hadn't heard the words oxidative stress. But oxidative stress actually, I don't know why I just lost my words, actually causes inflammation. And inflammation is a term that you're familiar with. And we talked about inflammation for decades now. So why weren't we talking about oxidative stress? Well, the reason why is because there wasn't a solution. So the good news is today there is. So not only can we get to the root cause of inflammation and free radical damage, we can do that by lowering oxidative stress, okay? So what causes it? I kind of say, what doesn't cause it? Goodness gracious, it's the food we eat, the herbicides, the pesticides, the GMOs, it's the water we're drinking and the chemicals, the air we're breathing, chemtrails in the air, right? We say too little exercise, believe that or not, right? But also too much exercise. What? Some of you might be happy to hear that, but an excess of exercise also causes a lot more oxidative stress. So we talked about environmental toxins, and goodness gracious, what about the Wi-Fi's and EMFs? We've got our microwaves, our cell phones, the monstrous 5G towers out there, right, that are in our backyard. Just think about it. We can't get away from it. So it is more imperative today that we are proactive about our health, that we're doing what we can at our level to minimize the damage to our cells. So Dr. Joe McCord, he said, well, what we've learned is antioxidants, let me get on my train of thought here. Antioxidants are the only thing that gobble up free radicals. So you're familiar with antioxidants, right? Most of us are. How do we know that? Well, because what's the big crave? That is fruits, berries, juices, shakes, all of those things that contain antioxidants, right? It's almost on every label out there on the shelf because they know how important it is for us to have antioxidants. But there's a piece of the puzzle that they haven't shared with us, and that is that we are actually creating over 300 sextillion, gargantuous number there, right? That's like 22 zeros of toxic free radicals a day. And that's the healthy person. People who are sick, they over-exercise, they're on meds, they smoke, they drink, things like that, they actually accumulate a lot more. So if we do the math, that 1-to-1 ratio and 300 sextillion, it lets us know that this direct antioxidant option isn't good enough, right? We can't consume enough to even put a sliver in that number. And so what I love is Dr. Joe McCord said, our bodies used to create our own antioxidants back when we were younger, and it did it far more effectively. And however, at around the age of 20, when we start to age, believe it is at the age of 20, it starts to deplete and go down. And every decade we are losing more and more and more of that protection, that antioxidant protection. And so he developed this product and put this formulation together because he said, if there's a way to turn on the switch in our body's far more effective, right? And so that's what our Protandim NRF2 does. It goes in and it activates this pathway that he was looking for to turn on our own antioxidant response. And so when we do it, ourselves, put our body in balance, we are actually, our body is creating over 1 million antioxidants every second, every day, in every one. That's pretty profound, you guys. When I heard that, this right here, when I say my angel showed up and shared this with me, this right here is what got my attention. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't have medical insurance. I knew that I needed to be proactive and I needed preventative maintenance. I could not afford to get sick, right? So if you heard that there was an opportunity to have cellular protection at a rate of 1 to 1 or 1,000,000 to 1, what would you do, right? And there's nothing else out there that does what this does. So I can't tell you how excited I was. And I said, get me started ASAP, because I understood how important that was. So this is pretty interesting. Before Life Vantage, as I just shared with you, there wasn't a solution to effectively lower our oxidative stress, our toxic free radical damage. A 1 to 1 ratio simply was not going to cut it. But today, we're sitting in a different place. Today, we have the most potent NRF2 activator on the market, and we're going to share how important that is, okay? So how can you look up the damage that oxidative stress causes? First of all, oxidative stress, as you can see in this graph, is connected to every one of our vital organs, every one. So is it important? It's important. Well, there's this thing called PubMed.gov, and it's the library for medical publications. And this is really cool, PubMed.gov. Make sure that you go and check it out. If you type in oxidative stress, it's going to pull up thousands and thousands and thousands of studies on the damages of oxidative stress and what it causes. But if you want to be more detailed, you want to detail your search, then this is really fun. Type in oxidative stress and what are your concerns? What are some issues that are happening in your family, perhaps? That would look like this: oxidative stress and diabetes, oxidative stress and heart, or Lyme, or autism. Do you get the picture? And it's going to pull up all of the studies that connect oxidative stress to that condition. So you can see firsthand the importance of lowering oxidative stress in relation to those things that you are concerned about, all right? What I love about this is that we don't have to prove anything, because remember we said that there was a peer-reviewed study that was done, and that's why ABC Primetime came looking at us, because that was really unusual for a product like an all-natural product to have any peer-reviewed research on it. But we're going to fast forward from 2015 to today, and we now have over 30, not 20, but over 30 peer-reviewed studies. So if you go back to PubMed.gov and you type in our flagship product, Protandim, it's going to pull up those studies. And you're going to see here that it's nothing to shake a stick at. The American Heart Association, Louisiana State University, Texas Tech, Harvard University, you guys, right? These people funded their own research. I think there was only 2 studies that were funded by the company, which lets you know that we didn't throw money at them, at these entities, to come up with results that we were looking for. That's profound for me. Our product also has patents, US and international, which tells you that we're protected, right? And so as a business, that's important to know. But I love to share some of the highlights, and this is one of them. Washington State University did a study on NRF2 activation. And the person that shared this with you, they can share that study with you, or you can look it up on PubMed.gov. But listen to a part of that study. It said that NRF2 activation is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Now you can see why we're excited. Now you can see why we invited you here. It is a big deal, right? So I want to share with you that our flagship product NRF2 has led to an NRF2 product line, right? We want to make sure that you're activated from the inside out and the outside in. So we don't have a big product line, but we have a very important product line. I'm not going to highlight these products in detail. Definitely reach out and hear the major benefits of these products from the person that invited you tonight. But you can see that we protect our cells, our skin. We've got gut health, hair and body products, brain health. Are you hearing me? This is NRF2 for the brain, you guys, our Axio. You might have heard of that. Connecting the neurotransmitters of the brain. Talk to the person that invited you and have them share with you what the kids, how this is, how the kids are having significant benefits with our Axio. Huge. And we've got NRF2 for our pets. Yes, not just our dogs, but horses, etc. So that's pretty profound as well. But over to the left, you're going to see there's 3 core activators. And all I want to share with you right now, our body is a vehicle. That's the vehicle that we have to get us through this life, right? So I'm going to compare our body, our vehicle, to a car, to a vehicle, okay? So our Protandim NRF2 that lowers oxidative stress, AKA free radical damage, we're going to call that rusting. We're rusting from the inside out. So that's like the rusting of our car. Much like if we were to cut open an apple, once you do that and you go back and look at that in 30 minutes, you're going to see that it's brown. It's oxidized, okay? This happens to our car. This happens to our cells. Well, we also have NRF1, which is our second activator. This is for the mitochondria. And if you remember in school, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cells. So we're going to call that the energy, right? Our cellular energy. And that would be the engine of our car. Is that important, right? And then we have NAD. And NAD is like the computer of the car. So these 3 products we call our tri-synergizer. These are our 3 core activators. And this is what, if somebody says, where do you recommend we get started? This is what we're going to tell you, because each one of those is great. Protandim NRF2 by far is the minimum that everybody should have. And any of these products that you have over here to the right, you want to make sure that you have Protandim NRF2, that flagship product that has over 30 peer-reviewed studies attached to it. You start with the NRF2 and then you add any of these products with it because they work together, okay? But these 3 core called our tri-synergizer, when we put them together, the efficacy combined is over 1,900%. That is why we tell you this is a great place to start, okay? So this is our NRF2 product line, but now I want to share with you what it looks like to partner up with this company. And I have to do that, you guys. I have an obligation to do that. These products made a massive difference in my life, but you heard part of my story. And learning about the business opportunity, I partnered up with the company immediately. Why? Because I was excited about a 1-to-1 and a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. And I knew that there was nothing else out there that did what it did. And I had to share this with my friends. This is information, you guys. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. How can you keep this and not share it with your neighbor or a family member, right? The person who's sitting next to you. It's so profound and so important. And because this changed my life so significantly, I have to make sure that you get to hear that information like I did. The opportunity is for you. You get to decide, do I want to be a product user or do I want to partner up with the company and take advantage of sharing this information and educating others and perhaps making an income with this side business, right? So when 2010 hit, when the economy came back up, it didn't come back up where it was. If you remember, we were like up here, the economy came back. Well, okay, the economy fell down to here and then it came back like to here. It didn't come back up here. And because of that, this thing called the gig economy was created because we needed a second source of income. This, when we used to be here, was no longer enough. And and people had to get a second job. And this is where Uber and Airbnb and all of these things, social selling came in. But let's think about 2 years ago, you guys. 2 years ago, we were stuck at home. So if you were an Uber driver or you were making extra money with Airbnb, that didn't work, right? That's why I was so grateful that I made the decision to partner up with this company. And I was lucky enough to hear about it 9 years ago, that 2 years ago when this stuff happened, my business was growing. I didn't lose everything like I did back in 2010. Okay. So keep your ears open. Write down names if they're coming in your mind right now of people that, oh my gosh, I need to share. I need to tell this with so-and-so. All righty. So what I learned with this industry is that we're in it together. I'm not doing this alone like I did with my other businesses that I had. This is a whole different business model. It's network marketing, and we get to do this together. So we're building networks and leveraging income. So we're building networks of customers and networks of business builders. Okay. And again, we get to do it together. It's the most profound thing that I have ever been a part of in my life. So when we make a decision to partner up with this company, one of the things that we have is we call this a laptop lifestyle. We get our own website immediately after we hit send and purchase the products and purchase the product kit. We now are open for business that quick. So not only can we build on our computer, but we also have an app, and you can do everything from your phone. And so what was so exciting for me is that, like, I just came from visiting my daughter down in South Florida. I can be anywhere. Since I build off of my computer or I build off of my phone, I can do business anywhere. Is that something that appeals to you? You get to be your own boss. You get to schedule your own time. You get to meet people where they're at, wherever you're at, right? It's so much fun, you guys. This is just a little bit more information to show you that we're building worldwide and we're growing. And this is just what I see when I look at this is, who do you know? And who do they know, right? Maybe you'll find yourself doing business in Australia, right? Or we're opening in numerous places, but I'm trying to remember where we are right now. We just opened up in another country that isn't even here. So there's Philippines. So who do you know? Who do you know there? Or who do you know that knows somebody there? And you can now have business globally, right? So what does it look like to partner up with this company? We have these things called a product kit. I love this, you guys. I was so excited about this when I heard about it, because I knew that I was going to become a customer of the products anyway. But the company gives us a one-time opportunity to get a huge discount off of those products. Well, since I was going to put those products in my body, it made sense. It made sense for me to purchase the product kit, get that discount, and then by default, I'm set up to share, right? So I love this, get set up to share and save. So a lot of times even customers will choose to purchase one of these kits just so they can make that discount, right? And then you can talk with the person that helps enroll you and find out where you stand in that. Do you want to share this with your friends and family, your neighbors? What does it look like to do that? And invite them to this information and connect them with the person that invited you so they can share the information. This is something that you're not going to run out there and try to do. You're going to do it together with the person that invited you here tonight. All right. So you can see that there's big savings, right? We've got the kit on the left, the Premier Pack, that is a 33% savings. That's pretty significant, right? And then we have the Elite Pack, which seems to be the most popular when you're making a business decision, because first of all, you're getting 48% savings. It's huge. You're all getting almost twice as much product for the value, right? But the other thing is you get an all access event ticket that also for our global convention, and you get 12 months free access to our local monthly and quarterly trainings. So those fees are covered for you. The convention fees and training fees are covered for you for the first year. That right there is huge, right? So we want to make sure that you understand what the difference of the two packages are and find out which one fits for you. We always say get in where you fit in, but we want to make sure that you understand the value of the Elite Pack, because you don't want to later say, oh my gosh, I wished I would have known, right? So that's what it looks like to get to partner up with the company. And when you do that, as I mentioned before, you immediately get your website. You've got a standalone replicated website and you're ready for business. You can share with somebody, you can share a shopping cart with somebody, you can tell your mom, hey, oh my gosh, I really want to get you started on these 3 core activators, and send her the cart. And all she has to do is just fill out the rest of the information. And so you can see here, can I do this? I always say this to people. If somebody asks me or says, they're concerned, I don't know if I can do this, then my question to them is, do you think I can do it? Do you think that the person that invited you here tonight can do it? And I'm sure it's a profound yes, of course they can. And so what that means is if they can do it, you can do it, because we do this together as a team. That's pretty exciting, right? That should lift a ton of bricks off of your shoulders, because you're going, okay, I'm not expected to run out there and go do what Lori's doing right now. I have a team that is going to do that with me, right? There's power in third-party validation, which I am basically your third-party validator right now. The person invited you here and you're hearing this information from a third party. That's what that looks like, okay? So remember I had mentioned that we have an earned income statement that shares the average of the actuals that are being paid. And I just want you to see, you get to take this where you want. Some people may be just looking for some extra pocket change, or perhaps maybe some extra money to pay for their products. But some people might be looking for a part-time income, and some people may be looking for a replacement income. But you also have the opportunity to do retirement income that is willable and transferable down to your grandkids. Does your current job allow you that, right? So you can see here at the Pro 3 level, the average income, and this is the early stages of your business. Pro 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the early stages. There are people that do this in the first month. And that is an average of over $500 a month. That's pretty significant. That's pretty profound. What could you do with an extra $500 a month? Who do you know that $500 a month can make an impact? That has just given you an annual raise of $10,000. Can you go into your boss tomorrow and ask for a $10,000 annual raise, right? The mid ranks of the company, Pro 5, goodness gracious, you guys, do you see this? It's almost an average of $3,000 a month. Honestly, after daycare costs, that could be bringing a spouse home to raise your children. That's huge. This is what we get to offer people. This is why we're so passionate about what we have and making sure that you have access to this information. And then the Elite Pro 7. Remember I said, this business changed my stars. I have reached the rank of Elite Pro 7. It's pretty significant. The average commission for Pro 7 is over $12,000 a month. Life-changing, Life Vantage, right? I just love it. It gets my heart. I'm so excited. I'm so blessed that it found me and we found you. What would you like to do with this opportunity, right? So we have the perfect meld. Why Life Vantage? Why not? Okay, that's not fair. Why? Because you can see here, laptop lifestyle. There's no overhead. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you what a relief it is having multiple businesses in the past. I don't have rent fees. I don't have employees. I don't have inventory. I don't have all of those headaches that come with owning your own business. We get to do social sharing or kneecap to kneecap. right? The timing I'd mentioned to you is impeccable. You need to talk to the person that invited you. I keep saying that. Go to them with your questions, get them answered. What is this timing thing she keeps talking about? We are going to go into this launch when we go into like Apple iPhone, right? Nobody had an iPhone 1, 2, or 3, but Apple 4 is where it really shot and went off. That's where we're talking about momentum, and we haven't reached that yet. Once we reach momentum, if you're partnered up with this company today, then you get to participate in 80% of the growth of the company. This is a ground level opportunity, and those don't happen very often in a lifetime. So I hope that that is something that you might be looking for as well. But we have strong retention. 80% of my business and our business is customers, product users, you guys, people who saw this information and said, I want 1,000,000-to-1 cellular protection, especially today, right? So we have 80% of our business is customers. And then the other about that 15-20% are business builders, such as myself. And so we've got international expansion that we talked about, and we've got a product that's proven, not just proven a little bit, but it's over 30 peer-reviewed studies. You guys, we have over 3,000 doctors and healthcare professionals that are partnered up with this company. Why? Because of those studies, because this information is proven, because it speaks their language, because we can connect them, and we don't have to, right? We don't have to be the expert. You don't have to be the expert. But what I like most of all, look down here, creating a life on my terms, working from my home, being my own boss, and look what's underneath that, and changing people's lives. This is huge. I get to build a business. I get to have a lifestyle based on helping other people change their stars, change their health. I've never had anything that was so impactful in anything that I've done in my past. This is huge. So you may be somebody who wants to make an impact, wants to make a difference in your circle of influence. And we want to help you do that. I want to tell you, this is where you make a decision. You make a decision. Do I want to be a product user and become a customer? Or do I want to be a product user, but I want to share it with the people that I know and care about? I want to make sure that they have access to this information too. And I can generate cash flow from home on my time, my terms, right? If you're thinking that, be sure to let the person know who invited you what your thoughts are. Ask those questions. But even if you're not thinking that, what I want you to understand, remember I said you can't unhear this, and your neighbor, you may have a conversation tomorrow with your neighbor and something comes up about their health or something comes up about finances. And I want you to have your antennas up enough that it triggers you to say, I just heard something that I think you may want to hear. I need to connect you to so-and-so and let them share this with you, because I think that you're going to be excited like I was. And if not, you're definitely going to know somebody who can benefit from this information. Please do not let that happen. Whether you're a customer, distributor, or you choose to do nothing, connect them, be a connector, right? So you can be a connector, or you can be a connector that gets paid for it. And so I showed this earlier, and I want to show it one more time. Remember, what is our foundation here? We have the most potent product, NRF2 activator in the world, proven to extend health span and delay the disease process. Before Protandim NRF2, there was no solution, effective solution to lower oxidative stress until today. Basically, all we're doing, you guys, is sharing the difference of activation and supplementation. Activating, that's easy for me to say. Activation is a 1 to 1 million every second, every day, and every one. Remember, being proactive about our health, cellular protection. Supplementation is a 1 to 1 ratio. It's not good enough. And then we find ourselves being reactive. So which one do you want to be? So that is the end of my presentation. Again, I want to thank you so much for coming. Please be sure to have that conversation. If you've got questions, don't let them go unanswered. And you guys have a great evening. And if you make a decision to join Lifevantage or partner up with this company, one thing I want to share with you also, I shared with you that we are a publicly traded company. We also are debt-free. But the other thing is if you all remember Erin Brockovich, Julia Roberts played her in the movie. She's an environmental activist, and she reached out to our company and researched our company, and she is part of our board of directors. I think that's pretty profound too, right? That speaks volumes. So if you make a decision to partner up with this company and or become a customer, I just want to welcome you, be the first to welcome you to Lifevantage. And thank you again for your time and allowing me to share these details with you. And we're going to call it a wrap.